Hello, this is Livia Caudell, founder of Conscious Wealth Builders, and I had the utmost amazing opportunity to meet this extraordinary guy. This is Adam Farfan. Did I get it right?
That's right.
Okay, cool. So awesome to meet you.
Absolutely.
You are such a powerhouse.
Thank you so much.
Seriously, and so much heart, so much love, and that's why I have you on this online summit, because
I appreciate that.
who you are and what he is up to is so extraordinary. So first, tell us who you are, a little bit about your story of how you got to be an entrepreneur, and yeah.
I actually came out to this country when I was 11 years old. A lot of people don't know this, but I was actually kidnapped when I was 8 years old and taken hostage and stuff like that. And I had to move countries when I was 11. And then after that, I ended up coming out here at 11 years old, and that's been my life. I started in direct sales when I was very, very young. And when I was actually 13 years old, I would actually sell like, one time it was kind of funny because of the fact that there was actually, I went to a dentist's office and I would actually just, there was a guy that walked in with his little toys. And, they actually kicked him out because he was like, no soliciting. And the guy seemed like a nice guy. I actually followed him out and it's like, do you want to buy a toy? I'm like, no, I want to help you sell it. I'm like, you're making money, right? And so actually the next day I went out to see him at an Alversons, which I don't know if they exist anymore. And I was like early in the morning on a Saturday and he was like 35 minutes late. And, just he opened up a bag and, out of his car, he showed up and we started doing that. And that was my first time that I ever made money without my friends or family and stuff like that.
So you've been an entrepreneur since you were a little guy.
Yep, for sure.
Cool, that's awesome.
Yep. And then I grew up Mormon, growing up in Utah.
Wow.
And,
amazing. So the guy behind the camera here, Brooks, he's from Utah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up in Utah, and I used to go to, go into my church. I used to have an idea of what, success was.
And
there
what
was
was
this
that?
guy, like a nice home, a beautiful wife,
Okay.
Pretty kids and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this one guy had that, and it was kind of funny enough because I would always wonder what his life was like. Funny enough, one day he shows up at my parents' house, and he was actually just trying to talk to my parents about finance and financial products and stuff like that, and everything seemed super dull, like boring. But the moment that he said that the financial industry was actually the highest paid profession in the world, I was like, holy crap. Next Sunday I went up to him and I was like, hey man, teach me what you know. Mm-hmm. So I started going to his house like every single day, and my mom would call me to make sure that I was there after school. And one day, like I thought it was her, but it was actually a client. And I was like, no, I don't know anything about this, because I was just like helping out, right? She was like, no, I really need this, and that was the first time ever that I quote unquote sold, even though I wasn't licensed to sell, do my first policy. And then I was kind of like, I was worried to tell him, right? Because I was like, I talked to a real client, right? And he was like, what? Are you serious? I was like, yeah, but I explained to her this and this and this. It was just from what I had learned, right? And then after that, I started getting on the phones and started doing that. And
how old were you at that point?
I was 16 years old.
16, okay.
Yeah.
That's still that's impressive.
Yeah, I was 16 at that time, and I was like, at that time in my life, I was very money driven. I'm not like that anymore, but at that point in my life, I was like, oh my gosh, I could do this, right?
Yeah.
And so that was the case for me. So then after that, when I was 18 years old, that's when my life really changed. I met my first millionaire mentor. This is that guy that really taught me what you would call the $1 million habits, right? Taught me how to expand my vision, grow my activity, be able to be a lot more results driven. And then we were just together for a little bit. We just started working, and after that I found a different firm, and we did a lot of epic stuff together. And then after that I learned the fact that I could build little systems, bring in value to companies, and actually be part of that ownership, be part of that sale. So my life started growing circles, and I started, instead of people investing money into actual financial products, they brought it into businesses. Mm-hmm. And I was able to raise a good amount of capital. By the time I was 24, where I actually took a long break, of literally, I was burned out literally from doing everything. So I took probably almost like a 6-year break.
Wow.
To do anything, and I've
Wouldn't
done
that be
some
nice
stuff on the side.
to be able to say, I took a 6-year break.
So I actually wasn't planning on coming back to work so early on, but I feel like last year, really a lot of things changed in my life that really drove me. I had like the burning desire to want to do something. And that's where I'm at right now.
Amazing, yeah. So before we just hopped on the camera here, I'd asked you, what do you feel your higher purpose is on this planet?
Well, definitely contribution. I literally feel like I have so much to contribute. It's really funny because of the fact that what happened was that I had actually built a company a few years ago, and I was actually more like on the advising side. I created something. I created software. They built a company around it, and I would always complain about the unethicalness about this company. And I was actually with a good friend of mine that I look up to a lot. Right, we were actually on a sailboat on our way to San Fran, and I was complaining about like this company and how bad it was, and just the reputation they're getting and stuff like that. And he says to me, and I don't know if I can swear or not, but I'm not going to. But he says, quit whining about it, for lack of better words,
yes,
because you can actually do something about it.
Yeah.
He says to me,
wow,
if you
so
couldn't
powerful.
actually do something about it, then that would be different.
Yeah.
But if you have the power of actually doing something about it, you've got more than enough time. You keep, and these are his exact words, you keep effing vegetating, right, and just traveling and doing all this stuff. Why don't you start something where you could really make a difference? At that moment, I never had heard him ever talk to me like that. And that next day we had like a 4-hour conversation on it, and so therefore that's kind of like when I started what I'm doing now, because of contribution. And the reason why is because of the fact that one of the things that I always saw is the self-development world, right? It's a $12 billion industry, and one of the things that I always saw is people going out to the seminars, going out to this powerhouse events, or reading something, right? And what happens is that it's almost like a 2, 3, 4, 5 day thing, right? And you go back to your normal life, you go to your regular life, regular relationships. And I would tell you that I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know that it's a very small percentage of people that actually implement what they what they've learned into this on their own lives. On the other side, you got all these companies that are like networking marketing companies, infomercials, opportunities to sell online, right? And a lot of people don't actually make money on that. So what I did is I've actually brought both, okay? Where I started an academy, I brought some of my closest friends, guys that are millionaires, billionaires, high performance entrepreneurs, best-selling authors, and I brought them up to my house, I brought them up to my place, and I put a camera on them, just like what you're doing now, and I'm like, tell me what you've done to be successful.
Awesome.
Not only I created this thing, but at the same time also I teach people exactly step by step, no holdbacks, exactly what I did to become successful in my personal life. And not only you get to know the how-to, it's not a big product, it's actually a real way of actually legitimate making money. But at the same time, you could also implement everything that you do in our financial company.
Wow.
So far, I don't know when this is coming out, but so far
October
we've
10th.
grown. Everything we've grown is organically.
Yep.
We've got about 120 students now nationwide. My goal is to have people making money within just a few short weeks. And that's what we've done. In fact, my top agent made about 80 grand last month. And we're only a few months old. And the reason why, it's because of the products.
Yeah.
Which I'll talk a little bit. I mean, you being around so many different entrepreneurs, every single day, you've seen, I mean, nobody needs a guy like me to tell them that people that make a lot of money, people that make millions of dollars do not have the same type of mortgages, investments, insurance, retirement funds, savings, strategies. The wealthy do not have the same strategies that the middle class do.
Yeah.
We're not reinventing anything new. All we do with our company is show an average person what the wealthy have been doing for decades.
Yeah.
There are plans out there that even Tony Robbins talks about in his book called Money, where there are programs out there that have guaranteed on your money, a guaranteed percentage, full market potential. You have liquidity after just few, maybe even a year sometimes. Like, there's so many ways of going about it. And I think people are starting to figure out the fact that what dad and mom told you, it's not going to go ahead and work for you. We're in a whole new different world. It's a whole new way of opportunity. And so therefore, all we do is we bring that. So therefore, we have a self-development program in our company. We're actually pretty much developing right now elitology. which is pretty much how to teach people the psychology and the way of actually becoming an elite person, an elite entrepreneur.
That's incredible.
Right?
Because
So
that's a
therefore-
huge missing. You know, I got to tell
Yep.
you, I've been in the seminar industry for many years, and I think I was sharing this with you the other day, that what I see is missing is that we're not teaching people how to become an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
We're teaching them, we're giving them business systems and models that they can plug into. But if you're coming from a 9-to-5 job and you've
Absolutely.
done that your entire life and you're going to try to go out and build a business, but you don't know what it takes to be an entrepreneur,
Right.
like that's why the failure ratio is so there. So I think it's amazing what you're doing. Talk about contribution, because you're bringing people up to what it takes to be. It's
Right.
ontology, the study of beingness.
Yep.
Because you've got to show up powerful, courageous, and
With
you
a
know,
mission, right?
Yeah.
And that's the one thing, right? Like just with our company, I feel like we are doing great things.
Yeah.
Our people are excited. They're changing their lives dynamically every single day. When I was actually on a call yesterday, and one of the guys was in tears.
Yeah.
He was saying, "It's like I've never been the kind of guy that paid attention to anything that sounded positive, because I was always so like just so into my life." He's a construction worker, right? His dad used to, his whole family is in construction, even though they're successful at it. You know, he's like, but now I really feel like I can contribute. I really feel like I can go ahead and do that. Because the hardest thing to do is turn an employee's mentality into entrepreneur's mindset.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing to do, right? Because of the fact that if you think about it, we grew up since we were little kids, right? We went
Yeah.
to school, we had to be there at a certain time, right? We had to ask permission to go to the bathroom,
Yeah,
right?
we've been
Which
trained.
you're doing that at your job, right? Then after that, you have to, get out at a certain time. You have things that you got to do, right? Since we were little, we were literally into the system of actually having jobs, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, that's kind of like where people's mindset is. So therefore, what I do with our company is not only we help you financial, the financial concepts of things, but at the same time, like how to break out of your mold, how to be the best you,
That's
how to
beautiful.
unleash the elite giant within you.
And so give
right?
us a couple of the principles, because it's all, like, consciousness is really a way of being. That's why it's conscious wealth
Right.
builders. It's all about who you're being in the world. So give us a little taste of like how you train people, like how do you train them to be?
So one of the things that we do is with our people, they're business for themselves, but not by themselves. Right? We know the fact that if we just give them a task or something that they write on, or people have told me like do an app and stuff like that, what we do is we actually have executive coaches that will work with you. An executive coach, the definition of a coach, it's somebody that, to me, the way that I've learned to be, what a coach really means is a coach is somebody that's going to get you to a place where you wouldn't get to by yourself or on your own, right?
Of course, yeah.
So therefore, when somebody joins our company, what they do is we actually assign them to an executive coach. We have them take a personality test. We have them take, just to get to know them, what drives them. We even have them take a love language test, just to know,
Beautiful.
right?
That's
so that way
great.
we get to know what drives them,
Sure.
right? My father always said to me, you don't know a person until you know what they want, right? So therefore, with what we do is we actually assign them to an executive coach, somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody that knows their stuff, somebody that knows exactly what they need to do, how they need to go about doing it, and stuff like that. And what we do is we teach them principles. I have the concept of teaching people the right principles and let them govern themselves.
Let me ask you a question. What
Go
about
ahead.
the principle? Because there's a lot of people, especially when you're bringing consciousness and money, wealth building together, and it's not just about financial wealth. We speak about spiritual wealth and mental wealth and society wealth and all those things. But can you just express, because a lot of people have money blocks,
Right.
So that's a huge thing too. Do you guys focus in going on that as well?
Yeah,
to change
absolutely.
your mindset about money.
The blueprint that you grew up with financially, it's kind of like what's ingrained within you, right? So that's why our company helps you see results fairly quickly, because of the fact that we teach you how to have little victories at the very beginning. However, we also know the fact that I believe money makes you transparent. I've always known the fact that money makes good people better, bad people worse.
Yeah.
So therefore, when it comes to our business, we actually teach you the fact that your revenue, your income will be a pure correlation of the person that you are. So therefore, if you are in business, you're meeting with people, and you are a person that's late, that doesn't have an honor when it comes to that, you are not going to make money. If you're the kind of person that's dishonest, you're going to have a hard time with our company, right? We actually have a code, and we have a certification program with our company where people will also get demoted, and that's that's also based on their personal life as well, not just in their business. Why?
That's so awesome.
Because of the fact that
Yeah.
the better that you get, the sharper that you get, the better skills that you get, the better speaking abilities that you get, in every way, shape, and form, the better person you become.
Yeah.
I promise you, in our business, the more money that you actually make.
Yeah.
So therefore, people feel proud not just because they're making money,
Yes.
but because of the fact that we are fully involved in their personal development.
That's so awesome. So I always say too, because Conscious Wealth Builders, it's not just about your business.
Yeah.
This is your business life. Because if you are great in business, but then you go home and you're, not taking time to spend with your children, you're not treating your spouse, with loving kindness, that impacts the quality of your life and your business too.
How you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
Right? So therefore, I tell people all the time, I'm like, you cannot be a part-time gangster. Right? You cannot be a part-time person, right? It's
Like,
either
this is
you
how
are
I am
it
in business,
or you're
this
not,
is how I'm
right?
in life, yeah.
Absolutely. Like the way that I am right now, it's the way that I am with my family, the way that I am with my friends. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Congruent.
So therefore,
Being
I'm very congruent. With I feel like with the type of person that I am. I'm very transparent, right? People sometimes follow my Snapchat. They're like, oh my gosh, that's kind of wild. I'm like, well, that's kind of the person that I am, right? Like, I love good things in my life. I love people. I love traveling. I really think that traveling is a huge thing. That's the beautiful thing about our company, is the fact that we don't have an old model of like get yourself an office, like get yourself a boss, like We literally have a very lifestyle driven company towards where we help people really know how to live. It's amazing how many people actually have made a lot of money, or make a lot of money, but they don't really have a life. They don't really have a lifestyle, right? They're so involved in working all the time, 24/7, that they're not really fully, enjoying the things they do.
Yeah.
Then you see on the other side, people that are, anyways. But I love what we do because I know that it's an overplayed thing. A lot of people say I love to help people, but I know not only with our company, it's the easiest way to crack your 6-7 figure mark, but at the same time, it's the only place where anybody that works with our company, there's two things that I can promise them.
Okay.
The number one thing is that if they like to help people, they will fall in love with our business.
Oof, I love
Behind
that.
every single dollar that we make, there's a family being helped on the back end.
That's beautiful.
And the second thing about it is the fact that with our incubator program, with our system, if you ask me really what it is, it's a championship factory. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Where average and ordinary people can walk in and come out having extraordinary results. We're seeing that already. We're at the infancy of our business. And right now, people are already starting to have those results where they become better people. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the one thing that my mentor said to me, do you live a life that angels actually admire? Right? When you die, I remember thinking about this, and I still think about it. It gets me a little bit emotional, but the one thing that he said to me, and we were actually talking one day, right? And I was so frustrated, even though I was making great money. And it was really funny because of the fact that he says to me, Adam, one day people will come up, you're gonna die, right? He says to me, first of all, Adam, do you know what the definition of hell is? And I'm like, no. He's like, the definition of hell, I know you've heard this before, but he says to me, Adam, the definition of hell is the last day of your life where the person you became gets to meet the person you could have become.
Oh, wow.
Right? Where the person
Wow.
that has all this potential meets the person that you actually became, right? And those two people, hopefully they're the same, but most of the time it's not.
Yeah.
Right? And when you die, you're gonna have all these like hundreds of angels rush up to you and ask you, what was your experience like?
Wow.
Right? And if you start saying, oh my gosh, I lived at this $20 million in Hollywood Hills, or this and this and this, I promise you some angels are going to be turned off and they're going to be flying away.
Yes.
But the moment that you start saying, but there was this one time that I helped out this one person, or there was this one time that I helped out this couple fix their marriage because of the fact that their situation was so much better off, or there was this one time where we helped this kid send out, be out to college, or there was this one time, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what angels admire. So therefore, you got to ask yourself, do you live in a way where angels actually admire your life? And I'll tell you this, for me, that's the one thing that I'm actually very conscious about on a daily basis, right?
It's so
Do I
amazing.
live that way? And I promise you that our people are also living that way themselves, right?
Beautiful.
Where we encourage them in every way, shape, and form to be better people for the world.
Kind of like, what would your angels do?
Yep.
Instead of
Absolutely.
what would Jesus do? What would your angels do?
Right.
That is so cool.
How would your angel feel about what you're doing right
Yes, I love that. So that's actually one thing that I talk about inside of conscious wealth builders is people, planet
now? Uh-huh.
before profits. Profits for sure. You have to have that to be sustainable. No margin,
Right.
no mission. I get that 100%. But taking care of the planet and having it be sustainable is so important too, and taking care of people. So I love that because you're not just thinking about money, you're thinking about the long-term effects of what it is that I'm creating. Is what I'm creating going to make an impact 100 years from now, 200 years, 500 years from now? Most of us are not even thinking about 500 years from now.
Yep.
We're just in the present moment, consuming. We're not present to the impact that we're making in the world. So I so love that.
Absolutely. And you know, the one thing about us is the fact that we have that concept of the starfish with our business. That's one thing that every one of our agents does know. I don't know if you've heard the story of the starfish or not. This guy actually is in the, he's offshore. He's literally off the ocean, right? And it's like, I think the way that I heard the story, there's many versions of it, but still so ingrained within me, is the fact that this guy is in, this guy's in the ocean, right? And all these starfish are coming offshore, right? And they're dying without the water, right? The waves bringing him up, right? And then one of the guys comes out, it's in the middle of the night, he's like, "You fool, what are you doing? You can't possibly save all those stars." The guy grabs one more, he throws it back into the sea, and he says, "I saved that one." Right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we feel that we're doing, one person at a time.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Giconic, right? Where we turn these people into giants. They feel good about what they do, and they really feel like they're making great contribution with our program, with the way we do things, and the way we elevate life in every way, shape, or form.
Wow. I so get your commitment to a higher level of integrity, and thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Because it's so needed in the world, and really it's missing. There's bringing the integrity to it, and I really get your commitment and your stand, so
Right.
thank you for that. We were actually just talking about, money and the issues in divorce, for instance.
Right.
The issues, and so how money can actually really heal. It's, so to have this financial knowledge and to understand money and the game of money is so important.
Right.
And being a conscious person, you got to understand how money works. And in our system today, it's an important thing to learn because the impact is affecting millions of families around
It
the world.
affects every single person. I mean, it affects your confidence. It affects your dating life if you're single. It affects you as if you're a wife or a husband. It affects you if you want to go to school. People say all the time, money doesn't make you happy, but I believe that not having money can also bring misery into your life, right? When people say that, it's absolutely true. Money does not bring you happiness, but I would tell you the fact that for me, for example, there's no way I could do a lot of the things that I do that bring me the most joy without having a lot of money, right? Me and my family just went out to Hawaii like 2 weeks ago, right? We had a blast. We created great memories. I could never, never ever forget the moment where I'm like literally in this deep sea blue waters with my little niece, Jadalyn, and we're like in this little tub that she's running around and she's looking at that, right? Coming back in and seeing my mother enjoy those things and literally just taking pictures and just doing all that stuff. And I'll tell you this, unfortunately, I couldn't have done that stuff, or if I would have been attached to something where I had to be somewhere, where I had to ask permission. You look at, for example, money for, just in general, it's unfortunate how you make some of the biggest decisions of your life based on money, right?
So true.
And so many people that are even not with the person they love because of money.
100%.
Right? So many people live, their wife, they cannot bring, you see it all the time, especially like where their girlfriend lives somewhere else, or because of the job, they're like in a different state, or because of, so many different things. that unfortunately attached to money. So therefore, what I do know is just how important money really is.
Well, and having a good relationship with it too, and not making it wrong. Because I know sometimes when we're frustrated, we're trying to make things work, and it's just not working. The money's not coming in. It's easy to say like money's so evil, like it dominates my life, but it's actually not money. It's the consciousness.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like the consciousness of it, knowing the fact that you're gonna use it for good, knowing the fact that you're gonna go ahead and do better things with it. I would actually personally invite you to know what it's like, to know the fact that you can actually go ahead and have a better lifestyle because of that, have the power of choice. To me in my life, the greatest thing is the power of choice, right? It's not just being able to do what you want and live where you want to live and drive what you want to drive, but it's just the power of choice, right? Like to be able to go ahead and maybe spend some time with the people that you care about the most, right? Like for example, just the other day, my mom was, sick and stuff like that. I've never missed a birthday, right? Because of things like that. I'm always there for like even if it's a small little birthday dinner, right? If I'm just gonna get away with my family for Christmas, right? All those little things that I would tell you that gratefully enough, especially if you have the means to be able to go ahead and do something greater with your life, I promise you it just comes down to one thing when it comes to money, and that's choice. Unless you live in a country where those things are not very optional to you, right? But that's what happens, right? Like you are able to go ahead and do a lot of things where you're focused. And I'll tell you this, the one thing that most people focus on is just on making money, and I'll tell you that that's not the right way of doing about it. But I'll tell you this, that's the beautiful thing I feel like that we're teaching our people as well, is the fact that behind everything that we do, make sure you focus on being the right person, make sure you focus on being better, helping your clients, the money will follow. You do enough of the right things for people, right? You will go ahead and elevate your own income by doing that.
That's beautiful. Yes, being purpose driven, and money is just a beautiful byproduct of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I always tell people, we put so much significance on the word money,
right?
And so some of you may be just grappling even with this conversation, because there's even some things you're saying that are coming up for me, and I always, tell people, I'm like, well, what if we were talking about coconuts? Like if I was saying, hey, how many coconuts you got in your bank? There probably wouldn't be a trigger. It's
right.
The word money and what we've associated to make that mean too. It's like, let's bring a whole new context around money. Let's start loving, the energy exchange, the beautiful things that it creates, like what you were saying, right?
Correct. Because it's not, I can have, money is really the value that you bring into things, right? Not the actual money, right? When people think of money, unfortunately, they attach it to an actual bill, right? They attach it to like $100 or they attach it to that. That's not what money means to me. What money means, it's the options. That's what it means to me. Money is the value. Money means all those things to me, but most people associate money like to this green paper that you cannot get, that you're a slave to, that, oh, it's not gonna make you happy, right? Like that's what money is to people. It's really weird. To me, money is just options. To me, money is just that. It's abilities. It's just that. That unfortunately we need them in order to do it. Just like in any currency in the world. But the highest currency that I'll tell you that you want to have I know we have to wrap this up. It's just the currency of your relationships. I promise you right now, at this point of my life, I'm not driven by books. I'm not even driven by money. I'm driven by people. I'm driven so much by people. One of my close friends, one of my very close friends, is actually one of the smartest guys in the world. And the one thing that I was actually, that we talked about one day is the fact that there's always been tests for everything. There's always been tests for your IQ, for your EQ, your personality test, what love language you are. There's been so many tests created. But the reason why I'm so involved in this is because of the fact that till this day, there's never been a test that's been created to determine the will and determination of a human being. Ooh. That's why people till this day will surprise you. You never know what somebody's gonna go ahead and do.
It's so beautiful.
And therefore, you're always gonna be shocked by a human being because of their capabilities and their mental momentum that they have to go ahead and make that stuff happen instantaneously.
That's amazing. So yeah, it's never judge anybody. You cannot judge anyone, even in the conscious conversation. So it's like Simon was talking about this at Sing. He's like, okay, so this word conscious, so does that mean that you weren't conscious before? You know, so there's this whole, what does conscious mean to you?
Conscious being present to me.
Yeah.
It's like having a positive aroma to the things that you're doing, right? Like for example, for me, I learned this because of the fact that oftentimes, you know, you just eat because of the fact that you're hungry. You just eat, right? But when you're conscious about what you're doing and you got that consciousness where you're actually like, take a deep breath and you actually do that. And whenever you work with someone or whenever you're a person of purpose, right? You wake up with a mission. You actually have that integrity about you, that inside within you that makes you want to be a better person every single day. Now, we're all humans, right? I understand, but to be the conscious part of it is the awareness of being better, is the awareness of actually elevating yourself to a whole new level, is the awareness of knowing the fact that you're not going to be on this earth for a long time.
Yes.
Right? You have a short period of time to make your mark. I'm not smart enough to know what happens after this, but I can tell you this, no matter what, I want to go ahead and make sure my angels are proud. That's what I want to do.
I just love that. Oh my
So,
gosh.
but that's exactly where I'm at right now. So I
So
appreciate
beautiful. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. So, free gift. Do you have a free gift you would like people to tap
If you
into?
actually go into adamfarfan.com, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that if you actually do get a hold of us, a lot of companies will actually go ahead and charge hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to go ahead and teach you about financial education as a gift to you. If you guys actually email us and let us know the fact that you've actually watched this video, we will actually go ahead and make sure we assign and we will go ahead and create a live call, and it could be in the form of a webinar or a phone call where we will go ahead and give you exactly the dose of what you need to do, what you need to know to be able to go ahead and you can do in your own personal life to be able to have be financially in a better financial health. So therefore, that's actually like $1,000 value. We will go ahead and make sure that you have those things for free.
Yeah.
And we'll just, because of the fact that we want to go ahead and contribute to you as much as we can to go ahead and make sure that you are taking the right steps to be successful in your own personal life, in your own finances and whatnot.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to post the link below, so make sure you click that, watch the videos, get your free gift. Come on board this guy. You're so extraordinary. Thank you for who you are. Thanks for caring about the future of this planet and the people on this planet. You're an extraordinary leader, up to great things. It's so an honor to be in your presence. Such an honor. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. We've got more amazing speakers and experts talking about conscious capitalism and this movement. So stay tuned. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. See you guys later.
Bye.